Now, the National Board of Technical Education has cleared the air over its proposed top-up degree program in foreign offshore accredited universities for Nigerian graduates of the Higher National Diploma in Polytechnics. It says the initiative is entirely beyond the jurisdiction of the National Universities Commission. The Executive Secretary, NBTE, Professor Idris Bogaje, stated this in response to questions bordering on the newly initiated HND top-up program using offshore credit transfer admission. The NUC has subsequently urged the NBTE to stay put on its plan to introduce degree conversion programs for HND graduates in Nigerian polytechnics. The NUC's acting executive secretary had noted that the NBTE was acting beyond its mandate. Arise News analyst Dayo joins us now to share his perspective on the dichotomy between the Nigerian university and polytechnic degrees and the controversy it's generating. Good to have you on Newsday, Mr. Sobowale. Good afternoon.
It's a pleasure being here as usual.
Now, of course, you know the stance of both NBTE and NUC in this case. Is anyone acting out of jurisdiction, or what do you make of all this?
You'll be surprised. I enjoy it.
I'm not surprised.
Knowledge is evolutionary. You got me? It's evolutionary. The polytechnics, if I use the Nigerian example, invariably if you have a first degree, you are rated more prestigiously than an HND holder. But I know HND holders who are in engineering, in technology. You know, the polytechnics deal with applied knowledge. The university, you see, but knowledge is evolutionary. You see, the two institutions, one for technical education, the other for, they are trying to protect their territory. But change has no respect for institutional directives. Because when change will come, it will come. They are doing change management. Change management is an oxymoron. You get to now talk of living there. The change will take its course. That is what is called disruptive creativity. You see, if you have an HND and you want to have a PhD, now of course, it depends on the discipline. But if the discipline requires a first degree, not an HND, what they are saying is that when they now want to get PhD, they say, let us see your first degree, which is HND. You see, it depends on individual universities and the various contexts in which they operate. Look, California, the governor, towards December last year, gave money, almost half about 450 billion naira for the third polytechnic university in California. The third. But see our own. When I was doing national service, I served in Maiduguri, Northeast College of Arts and Science, now university. When I was doing NYSC too, I was teaching economics at Northeast College of Arts and Science. It's now MUBI, it's now Polytechnic. Even in Lagos State here, there's a Lagos State University of Technology. It should be Polytechnic. So it's a sort of institutional migration or evolution. And it depends on the exigencies on the ground. Now, some universities from overseas want to come to Nigeria. You see, some of them may have tuition that is less than what we have on the ground. Because there are universities that are interested in educating people and getting people to have access to higher education. Unlike here, where universities, most of them want to make profit. It's businessmen and politicians who set up universities now. And they have driven the established universities underground, literally in terms of performance. That's aside from the trade union matter. But you see, I see it as an evolutionary trend which will resolve itself over time. It's like when you have accountants, you have Anan and Ika. Remember the fight? Now both are on the ground. When I was in the civil service, a Nigerian graduate will be taken in on level 08. But American graduate will be taken on level 7 because they said they didn't write good English. But eventually they too fought back and they got to the same level. These are evolutionary things. But what is important to me, I'm not talking of what's my favorite, automatic intelligence or something, which is it. But what is important is technological education. You see, somebody made the point there that BT made the point that NUC does not respect technology, online learning, and all that, which is the thing we should concentrate on. You get me now? Electronic education. You get me? Whereby it's not a brick and mortar issue that you go to the university to learn through your Google, through your computer. That's the in thing now. That is the in thing. So the universities, very soon, they will become dinosaurs in terms of learning technology. Right? That is what we should focus on. And that was what the BT man was trying to say. I will support him in that regard. That we focus on electronic technological education and create the environment, enabling environment for people to thrive and learn. That is more important than if a university has a standard for admitting people, you have to comply or find another university to go to.
And of course, the big conversation here is about those who want to apply to further their education internationally.
Yes.
With the introduction of the top-up program, I mean, what's the biggest contention? What is the real issue here? Because it seems like more of a power struggle.
It's not a power struggle. It has always been there. If a university insists that you must have a first degree, I mean, invariably, I said when I started, I said invariably people always think HND is inferior to a degree. It's a universal something. But then, see, I've had people who went to polytechnics who migrated to the universities and became professors.
That's what I'm saying. So if the international universities don't have a problem with accepting this top-up program to the HND, why do the two organizations have a problem with, they have their tussle?
I don't see there's a problem. They want president to intervene. It is what is the duty of president in that. They are to create an enabling environment for people to make academic progress. And the technical line, we need people from the technical area, and we need people, look, like the American university I mentioned about, the courses they are emphasizing, they call it STEM courses, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So they can create work for their people and they can improve the environment. They are building schools for them to thrive for that. That's what we should be looking at. What they are doing, to me, is administrative quarrel. But what is important is the quality of education. The foreign universities will not relent. I mean, there was a list of the top 100 universities, as usual. Oxford was there, Harvard. They will not relent on their standards, regardless of the administrative territory management issue you have on the ground in Nigeria. What is important is for us to attain universal educational standards and train our people.
Mr. Sobowale, you made it clear that it is more like an administrative argument and the president shouldn't necessarily intervene. But how do we
solve it?
Yeah, what are your recommendations for
That's all what I've been saying.
Yes.
You see, the HND is different from the polytechnic. And polytechnics have migrated to become universities. I've mentioned instances. So it is an evolutionary thing. It depends on the standard of each university. If your university insists that you must have a first degree before you enter it, or if you have an HND, you must do a diploma before you come. That is the standard.
But why can't you just do a top-up?
And that is what's wrong with it? That's what I'm telling you now. There's nothing wrong with it.
So it looks like you see more reason with the NBTE than NUC.
The MBTE, man, is more digital oriented.
Which is what you like.
Of course. That's how we make progress now. Digital education must cope with the times. That's why I call it change management. The MUC wants to manage change. You don't manage change. Change goes on its course.
That's right.
Absolutely. Well, they say the only constant in life is change, Mr. Dayo.